Hey guys, welcome back for another episode. So today, this is double upload. So this is the second video for today. And we're going to be going over Black Mirror Season 4 review. But before we talk about that, can you please smash the like button? And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel because it's still slowly growing and shrinking. So with everything else, let's go on to it. So with the fourth season, I would have to say it was definitely going for a different theme for this one going on. So going over with the first episode was actually one of the longest episodes of almost any of the episodes in this entire season, and they were going for like a Star Trek type of theme. And the crazy part was the guy, I guess he created this type of system that basically people were able to get into this world, and you're able to record people's DNA, and you were able to digitally record the DNA and then put it into your game world. Well, they had this big, huge, successful company. He was basically second in command of this whole company, and the mass majority of the population was playing on this game that he helped created. Now the crazy thing is that when he comes home, you think everything's normal, but you see what he really goes to. He loves to relive the life of this science fiction theme type of brand that he was associating with. And literally, he was taking people he worked with. He basically got their DNA and he was recording it into his own little private game world that was separate from the masses. So the thing was, everyone was basically following his rules. Once he came in, he was like a king. Over the course of the whole episode, he doesn't realize that all these people that the DNA he recorded and he threw into his little game private world that he had going on, they were all being they basically was falling in line until there's one person who comes in who gets recorded, and she basically gets all the other code to rebel against him, to basically seek their own freedom, which, as almost as crazy as it is he doesn't see the clues about it, because he think none of like this would happen. I mean, the code even blackmailed someone from the actual game company to help assist in actually helping them be able to get their freedom. So it was really cool. They were doing they were going to a different planet. They were trying to solve dealing with the issue that they had when they arrived at the planet. And it was almost in some ways, I guess, in this case, you're thinking the guy who was the creator was the main protagonist, but the reality is he was actually the antagonist of that whole situation. So I liked the fact that you're playing off with the bad guy, and then you're seeing Nicole basically screw him over. And yeah, he got super screwed over. But I thought it was kind of nifty, because they haven't played on something like that. So that was on the first episode. On the second one, they were covering about how a mom who was super protective, and she decided to get her kid a little type of a little device into her head to shield her from anything that was gory or bloody. So anytime, and she had the choice to turn it on or turn it off, because the people who were telling her about the plans, this was something revolutionary, because it was still in the beta phase. Well, she turns on the thing, so she basically sheltered the kid even more, because she didn't know what she couldn't get a visual look of what the blood was looking like. Also, the dog that was barking at her when she was walking past by the dog, he was blurred too. It was only, and you see that her kid acts like this from her little childhood until she grows all the way up into her almost like a young adult phase, and she was just fed up with her mom. And, she just chose the ultimate, like, classic, like, yep, I'm done with you. I'm gonna go. And yeah, it was like, when someone's really controlling and everything, you're trying to obey down with the system that you had in, because like remember, she was able to spy on her even when like she wasn't around, because all she had to do was look at the tablet. But once the child took away the tablet, she couldn't spy on her no more. So like you lost control. And that was on the second one. On the third one, you had another mom issue. But in this one, the mom was a darn killer. And it's like, you're thinking like at first like, oh, okay, you did a hit and run. You tossed the body over into the water. You're being like, okay, that's fine. The body is in the water. 15 years goes by between her and the guy she helped move this body over, because like obviously he hit this person. And, she was thinking that like, the female character who was helping in this getting rid of this body, she thought she was through with it. She was an architect. She had a life and everything else. The guy who basically didn't really have much of a life now, he was going to spill the beans. She kills him, and from there it only gets worse. Like I was just like, wow, dude. Like literally, she couldn't stop. She couldn't really stop doing what she was doing, because she was trying to cover up all her tracks so nothing will tie back to her. But you know what it is? That karma comes right back, and it's going to bite her right back in the booty, because of all the bad deeds she's done, it's going to catch up to her. So that was on the second one. On the third one going on, it's going to be going with the killer. No, that's the third one. The fourth one was going to be the speed dating. So basically, everyone that's here on the speed dating on the fourth one, everyone comes and meets up. The system tells you how much time you have to spend with each other, and then once you're spent with that time without, you wait for the next person, the next potential mate that you'll link up with. Well, the first two characters that you see, and these people are the main characters, this guy and girl, they hit it off. Emotionally, there was some sort of connection. They did not sleep with each other, but they, in the back of their mind, they were both wondering about what if this relationship went on for more longer. The thing is, they were only together for a very little time, and then the next mate that they had to deal with, they literally veered off into like two different directions. So like the guy, he literally gets this one chick who thought he was boring, unsatisfying, absolutely like, she just felt like, he's terrible, he's dreadful. Why am I with this idiot? And it's basically what she was constantly thinking of, because she was like, she just found him uninteresting. While the lady was like, she was with this one person for 9 months, and then after that, almost everyone else she was with was like, oh yeah, you're just a one night stand. Like everyone was just a short little fling. It went from 9 months to like every guy she met with was like almost like 36 hours for each one. So like she was getting some action. But the other guy, it was like they both, but over time, especially her, she was definitely getting wore out, but she was still having that lingering feeling about the first guy she met through this system. And this is how like they've been dating and stuff. And you find out like the whole aspect and everything was like, literally you're thinking like everyone was in this type of secluded, protected area, and the reality was no, this was all just taking place virtual. It is a somewhat happy ending for that one. And then let's go on to the fifth one. The fifth one, if it was like two movies having a baby, it was like if you took Sin City, because they had the black and white going on, merge with Terminator. This fifth episode would be it. because like literally you have three characters. They're on a road. They're trying to get this. They're trying to get some supplies because because the setting makes it like it's post-apocalyptic. There's not much activity going on human related. You find out that they find an item they have, and then literally crap hits the fan when a robot turns active and literally starts gunning them down. Now, mind you, it turns into almost a little bit like the Predator because the robot was acting like the hunter, and the female was acting like the prey. And the crazy part was that like the robots, they had this capability where they could actually fire up these tracking bombs. So these tracking bombs explode into a certain amount of radius, and then they stick into your skin, and then the robots will know where to track you down. And like the lady, she was kind of going through life and death because like her two friends, she just watched just got murdered ruthlessly, and she's been trying to get away. She did a clever tactic to fooling one of the robots, and she eventually got away. But man, dude, the fact that she got to this one place, it was just like, oh, I don't even know if I'm going to survive. And I guess the person that she was talking to on the radio and stuff, yeah, I mean, they never got the item that they wanted to get. I mean, it was kind of one of those more type of sad type of stories. But nevertheless, it was definitely entertaining because like you were seeing someone on the run, they were trying to survive from this robot, and this robot was a little bit intimidating because like literally, I guess one of its arms can turn into, was able to like literally was shielding a shotgun type of blast type of thing. So like literally, like when it was shooting off heads, literally it was exploding. I'm just gonna say it was pretty great, but it was definitely a little bit like on high action, a little bit of depressing because like the lady had no other support other than herself once her friends were gone. And then we come to the last episode, and the last episode was probably my favorite episode. That one, it was about a character who comes to a gas station that was empty, and then there was this big huge store that we weren't sure if it was empty, but it was closed when she came to it. It set up the whole premise that this whole story on that last episode was actually it. I was thinking like, okay, it was just one story, but the actuality, it was 4 stories in one episode. And I mean, the general premise is a girl comes to this kind of abandoned type of area, and it was used to be a really populated visiting site for people to come to because it was a museum. Now, the person who owned the museum, he tells you the story, but what you don't realize is the person who's the owner of this museum is actually the antagonist. And whilst the girl who came in the vehicle, she's the main protagonist. So like she's telling you the antagonist guy is telling you the story about what happens to all 3 of these people. And in one story, you got this guy, he becomes super addicted to pain. Like he loves pain. He was looking for pain. He experienced a life-death situation, and he wanted more. The second story, the guy links up with a girl. They have a family. After having a family, terrible accident happens to his loved one, and now he decided, let me just put this girl, conscious inside my head so she could watch him run back. They get into some disagreements. He decided, I'm going to put you in a toy. And because his new woman that came into life, she wanted to move her out of the way because she thought she was a nuisance. And in the last story, it goes into a guy who was on death row, and he decided to believe in the antagonist. Like, well, you know what? I'll take up your idea. So he agreed to become a hologram for him. What he didn't realize was he was agreeing to basically be an animal in a cage, and people was going to watch him, and they were going to pay the antagonist to watch him get tortured for a souvenir, which is crazy. And I mean, it definitely leads to a happy ending, but I was thrilled with how they were able to squeeze in all these stories into this one episode, and it was just like, yeah, that's a very satisfying way. To me, this was like my favorite episode out of this whole season, the very last one for season 4. So if I had to give this one, I will probably give this whole season right here, from what I've seen here, I would probably give it a B plus from what I've seen. I thought it was great. There was, they had a lot of different aspects, but, who would know? Moms could be something else, you know. But yeah, if you guys like what you saw here, please leave a suggestion. Tell me what was your favorite episode, or favorite scene, or if you have any future suggestions, just put it down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Pow.